Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is the Banlist video that I was talking about I wanted to do, and we're finally doing it. We know that there will be a ban list coming down the road very soon, given that Blazing Dominion is less than a month away now. And a lot of people are coming out with their ban lists, what they're saying and needing and wanting. But I want to keep in mind a couple of things when I make this video is that under the impression that I don't want any deck to be completely unplayable. If you've spent money and time investing and learning and playing a deck and you really like it, I don't think any one deck should be killed. And I think that what we're seeing right now is we're seeing Draco Tale being a huge contender in the format, Yummy still being a contender in the format, and it's not Yummy, it's every variation that can then bridge into Yummy. Mitsarugi is definitely very popular. Radiant Typhoon. We know the big decks in the room. And I don't think any of them are inherently like stupid or crazy or do anything like completely uncontrollable, like how Snake Eyes did back in the day with Apo and then Savage and then Baron, and then it was just like impossible to get under the way. But got a list of cards here. I want to go over my thoughts, my opinions, but the mentality is that I don't want to see any deck completely murdered. I think Draco Tale is mostly a fine deck. I think Cupsy or the Yummy deck is mostly a fine deck. Same thing with Radiant. I think there just needs to be other hits, and that's what I'm going to get into in this video. So let's get into it. So as far as like dealing with a Yummy, right? We know that with Blazing Dominion coming out, that Yummy and Draco Tale are going to be kind of phased out by Konami so people can play the new fun stuff. When we can already see that with them announcing the Elf Note support, that they're like, we've seen this pattern before where they bring out the old and in with the new so they can sell a new product and everything. Because if Draco Tale is still like full power and nothing hit, it's like, okay, well, why do I need to buy the new product if I'm still really liking this deck and everything? It kind of gives them a reason to, well, I got to move on to something else. I don't like that mentality, but in this ban list, I'm going to try to give my opinion, and hopefully you kind of see it from a different light. But to deal with the Yummies, I think that these two are just fine. I think Snatchy we can bring to a semi-limit. I don't think it needs to stay limited because we're going to do one of these things. Because honestly, fuck Yummy. I think what is happening a lot in the decks that I'm seeing that are topping, and just like overall why Yummy is so, because it's not the Yummy engine itself that's like crazy broken. It's the fact that it's so bridgeable. If you can make a link one and level one, because you can't ban all the link ones, you can't ban all the level ones. Like, the player base is smart. They're gonna figure something out. I mean, I just saw a combo where Fiendsmith Requiem, or not Fiendsmith Requiem, Engraver from the hand is actually full Yummy combo. It's crazy because of the Lurie and the Requiem, and you just make Cupsy. So I think for now, I know this kind of kills the deck, but I think for now, ban Cupsy. Bring Snatchy to 2, ban Cupsy. Because there's still other ways you can play Yummy, as a little side engine or whatever. But I think if you ban Cupsy, it'll get people off of trying to find new ways to make Cupsy. Excuse me, find ways to make Cupsy, because that's ultimately the issue here. Is if you can make Cupsy because they didn't do it with a level 1 Yummy monster or link 1 Yummy monster or whatever. It's just a link 1 and a level 1, and that is so generic. And Konami does really good now with support and new decks that it's not like impossible to play in other decks, but you get these one generic cards where it's the ultimate bridge. So if we ban Cupsy, Yummy, then people stop the bridge, people move on, people either drop the deck altogether, which I don't want to see, but I think overall this is like the fairest way to go about it. Because if you don't ban Cupsy Yummy, then people are just going to keep playing it and bridging it and finding new ways and this and that. And if you hit anything else, it's just like pointless. So yeah. Now the conversation on Mitsarugi. I think Mitsarugi is just fine. I know people argue prayers to 1. And here's why I don't think they're going to do anything for Mitsarugi is that we just got the modern decks. And for people that are picking up the product, they don't want to kill their own product, because if people pick up the Mitsarugi deck and are like, oh man, this is like a really great deck, and like, you know, I can quick play starter, dodge the droll, and, you know, get Habakiri in hand, whatever you need, this, that. I think it's fine. I think the Mitsarugi engine's fine. I think where Mitsarugi, and as we're going to talk, that some of the other engines are winning because of non-engine. And that's how it's always in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just, oh man, my deck can play this busted, you know, floodgate, cool. And they just win like that. So I think Mitsarugi is fine. I think where it wins is Impulse. Impulse just being a crazy hand trap. Any deck that can play Impulse is playing it at 3. And playing it at 3, you're going to see it quite a bit, quite a lot. So I think us just following what the OCG is doing. I don't think Ash needs to be hit, but I think the Impulse to 2. I don't think they'll do it to 1 because there's the reprints coming out eventually where we get the full art, wherever that is down the road. I'm not sure. But same thing with Purge. Purge is a little different. Purge is another Ash, but I think Purge should also go to 2. But I think Ash Blossom also should be on the list of being at 2, because Ash Blossom just checks a lot of decks. It checks a lot of things. It's a good 1-for-1 trade. But I didn't put it on here. But yeah, if Ash Blossom was on here, it's kind of like with these 3 big ones with Impulse, Purge, and Ash Blossom. It's just a matter of the timing of it. When they're going to do it, I don't know. But yeah, I think Impulse definitely, like, this ban list needs to be hit to 2. Purge can just stay here for now and then eventually down the road, especially because people just got the full art for it, which looks really badass in Rarity 5, by the way. Yeah. And now we're going to talk about Draco Tale. Draco Tale being the most popular deck, it's kind of like, how do you hit it? What do you hit it with? Well, the popular variation is with the Albaz and the branded cards. I think there needs to be just a separation of the two, kind of like with the Yummy decks, where it's like, what's that bridge? What can you hit that doesn't kill the deck, but the Draco players can still enjoy their deck? And there's a few ways to go about it. I think, but there's also a lot of cards that check it, which I will talk about in a bit. I think honestly, Arthalion to 1 kills the recurability, you know, kills that recurability in the grind game and everything. I think Arthalion to 2 would be okay. And then you can put like Famina at 2 or even Famina at 1. It just got the reprint, so it could be on their list of, you know, we can just hit it to 1 and then it's not going to really matter a whole lot because people have every version, every cheap copy and whatever. And it doesn't kill the deck. It doesn't kill the deck. I mean, one could argue that, you know, if I mean it to 1 and then Arthalion semi-limit's crazy. But I think the rest of these can just stay. It's a fine deck. People were arguing for Flame to be banned. And I've been seeing a lot of like in the community for Flame to be banned. I think it's fine. I think it's fine. There's a lot of ways to go about it. Evenly just fucking clears the whole board anyways. And I don't see Evenly going semi-limit or limit or banned at any point because it's a fair going second card. So yeah, I mean, that's the only way I would hit it. I would argue, I don't have it on here. I would argue that maybe the Fallen of the Virtuous, the quick play spell, I think that's a really good quick play spell. And I've talked about it before. I'm glad that it's a generic quick play spell that a lot of decks can play. It's a good form of removal. It's a for cost and then target pop. I think that's fine. If anything, you can go like semi-limit that card just because it's being used so much. Kind of hard to tell if that would do anything to reduce the power of Draco Tale, but I think the Arthalion and Famina hit would be just fine. Kind of like tame it a little bit without killing the deck. But speaking of killing decks, this should be done a long time ago. Will it? I don't know. It got the reprint in Rarity 5 with the stamp that says buy. Hopefully that's like way of Konami saying like, hey, buy to this card because it's fucking banned now. And that's the reason why I think Malice has been winning so hard. And same thing with like Vanquish Soul K9 is that you'd be surprised like how often the one of can come up, and it's literally just like a free win. Like if they can catch free wins like that, I mean, Malice is also able to use the impulse, but Malice is also able to use 3 impulse and a shifter right now, and some of them are even playing the fissure to like obviously stop like the hand traps and everything, and the Famina, and to limit how much other decks can do, even though they don't care about it. So I think these two being banned finally. Are we going to get an emergency ban list with like a bunch of like toxic cards thrown out? Probably not. But I think this definitely checks the decks that can use shifter and that can use fissure, and just as like a win more, or just like, the deck didn't do a whole lot in the first place, but they slapped down the fissure at the end of their combo, and it's like, all right, good luck. Time to play the game. And we see Konami's already been like kind of purging out some of the floodgates slowly, and people are just discovering new floodgates, but it's going to take a while for Konami to go through it all. I mean, there's so many out there and so many different ones, just like Spell Canceller. Ban it. Doesn't need to be in the game. I don't think Spell Canceller is healthy. I don't see K9 Vanquish Soul using it. One could argue though, so just with the Malice stuff, everything is fine as is. Ban Ripper. This is also that like Cupsy Yummy, like you just make Ripper. Ripper is also just like a dumb card. I know that's kind of like the foundation of like the deck right there, but not really, because you got other level 5s you can go into. You got the other support cards that came out for it, and Ripper's definitely not going to get banned for sure. But this is right here I would like to see it banned, just because of how much it does, because not only is it a Nibiru negate or any negate, it's also a punishment for also using, because it's a hand rip. It's a look at the hand and a hand rip, which I don't like. And realistically, it's not going to happen, but I would like to see it happen. So I'll put it at the back. And then as far as like the K9 cards, I mean, the K9 cards aren't really doing like anything crazy on their own. Like I said, if you're able to abuse these cards, then I think honestly everything is just fine the way it is for K9. Maybe a Zuna semi-limit, just to kind of like little slap on the wrist so people can play the new stuff. And the same thing with the Vanquish Soul cards. I didn't put all the Vanquish Soul cards on here, but I think Vanquish Soul right now is just fine. Like I said, it's non-engine in a lot of these decks that are giving it that boost. Like these engines on their own aren't doing a whole lot. It's the fact that they're able to abuse certain non-engine that makes it to where other decks can't play through that non-engine, and it's like a free win. So that's my reasoning and logic behind this. I don't want to see decks nuked out of the format. I don't want to see people spend a ton of money on decks, and then all of a sudden like, oh, my deck's unplayable now, and all the cards, like if I collected Starlights or whatever the case is, and now they're all completely worthless because no one wants to play it. So even if I wanted to sell the deck and move on to the new stuff, my old stuff is invaluable now, and there's no point in like trying to sell it because it's pennies on the dollar now. So that's my logic. Radiant Typhoon with the Vision limit. Could semi-limit it just because like Radiant Typhoon uses it, but we're seeing it too many in other decks like Sky Striker. Like this is also a hit to Sky Striker. It's just hitting that free draw to, get rid of one, because you can do that in the draw phase, and then you can do one of the pot cards, whether it be Extravagance or Prosperity or whichever one Sky Striker you want to use. Just hit the consistency. I think Radiant Typhoon on its own is not a crazy deck. Crocea maybe to semi-limit. Again, I don't want to see decks nuked out. I think most of them are fine. It's the non-engine. Speaking of non-engine, I think it's time we have this conversation. Thrust. So it's the same logic as like Cupsy and Ripper. Thrust being able to set Impulse, set Purge, set Floodgates, set Black Goat Laughs, with any and all floodgates out there that are normal traps. Thrust has just been one of those crazy cards. But Thrust also gets you board breakers. It searches stuff like talents. It searches stuff like evenly, Regeki, and all this stuff. Thrust is a very powerful card, and I'm surprised it hasn't seen any hit to it. I could argue for a semi-limit. I think that would be just fine. But I think a limit needs to happen. It's, we got Thrust, we got Called By, we have Cross Out, Talents. They're all at 1. Why not put Thrust at 1? Why not put the thing that's going to grab you at Talents anyways? And Thrust can also grab people Engine as well. Like, you can get a pre-prep. You can thrust into Engine cards to then keep going, which I think is fun and it's good because with it being such a heavy hand trap format and hand traps being so prevalent, especially with the chummies, it gives you that option like, okay, you chummied me. Like, let's say I was about to do something and you double Fua. Okay, now I don't really want to do anything because if I summon one thing, you just +2 and it's like, I don't want to give you that. So that's why I'm kind of torn between like semi-limit and a limit. I think for now it could go to semi-limit and then maybe the next one go limit. I don't know, but we'll just leave it at the semi-limit just to start. Talents at 1 I think is fine. Drones, I mean, like, does Sky Striker even care for it? It's another bridge card, but again, we killed the bridge card, so why punish Sky Striker even further? Drones is obviously not the issue. Now, Kashtira cards that they got reprinted with Unicorn and Fenrir finally getting their reprints in a rarity collection, I think they're fine. I don't think Unicorn and Fenrir are anything too crazy. Now, if you think Unicorn is bad, just wait till Kill Tune can rip 3 out of your extra deck turn 0. I believe they could. I think it's turn 0. I don't think they need like their turn to like go through your extra deck and rip shit out. But there's going to be a lot more stuff going on. And I think honestly Fenrir and Unicorn are good little sub engines to kind of throw in some decks to fill out because they're a free special summon and you do the birth, you can get one of them back. Fenrir and Unicorn are very slow, so it's on the resolution. I think they're fine. Lancia, I think, is also fine because, again, we're killing Malice in other ways. So, Lancia, we don't need to do anything to. Just leave it at 3, please, just in case. Blue Eyes getting support down the road. People were kind of mentioning that, well, the Primite stuff needs to be hit. I could argue Drill Beam could be hit in consistency, but I don't think many decks are running 3 Drill Beam. I think Drill Beam is fine for the most part. It is an Omni Negate. Well, not an Omni Negate. It has to target it on field and then banish it. But they also need to reveal either a normal monster or a Primite monster, which is just Ether Barrel. But I think, honestly, it's all fine. We'll deal with that down the road. Retaliating. I think this is Retaliating. I think Retaliating is fine. I think this honestly checks a lot of decks. It checks the Branded Fusion. It checks the Rahu or Ketu or whatever one that Draco Tale uses to special summon. Yeah, I think it's fine. Nobody needs to be complaining about it. Again, keep stuff in check. Now the chummies are a big topic of conversation because it's like, well, what do we do? In Yu-Gi-Oh, if you lose die roll, you pretty much just lose. And the chummies are a great way to combat that because most people run Ash Blossom. I don't know how many times I felt so confident with my opening hand that I lost die roll. And I see like the one Fua or the one Perulia. And I see like a couple starters and then maybe like another hand trap or whatever, like an Ash Blossom of my own. It's okay, cool. I feel pretty confident. And right as they're about to start their combo, they do something and I Fua and they hit me with the Ash Blossom. It's like, okay. Ash Blossom being the necessary evil to check the chummies right now. But I think, in all honesty, it's not their time just yet. Do I think a semi-limit down the road might be justified? Maybe to Fua and then keeping Perulia and Meows at 3 and 3. Because Fua is just like Fu is just that dude. You know, he's just that guy. I think right now they're fine though. What's not fine is Mistaken Arrest. This is for sure a banned card. For sure a banned card. It's got it reprinted in whatever OTS pack it was that it's a super. Still an expensive card, low key. And then it's just stupid because you can go like end phase or your end of your turn or whatever and just drop it, and your opponent walks into their turn trolled. Okay, cool. I didn't want to play the game anyways. So just trying to hit out again more floodgates, and I don't think there's that many floodgates on this list. Like I'm putting Macrocosmos here because it's like if you're doing Fissure, you do Macrocosmos, but Fissure was just honestly like even more crazy because Fissure you can just slap it down at the start of your turn, first thing you do, and your opponent just eliminated half of their deck right out, or if not, their entire deck is just completely invalid. And then Macrocosmos just being another floodgate because it's like, well, if you're getting rid of these, you might as well get rid of these because it does the same fucking thing. Cold Bind, with it being such a heavy hand trap format and the chummies running around and everything, if we already have Ash at 3, I don't think there's any reason to bring this to a semi-limit. Just keep it at limited, no change. I don't think there needs to be a reason to bring it to 2. There might be some reason in the future to ban it, but I think Called By is honestly that like crazy graveyard interaction where, you know, the kill tunes do stuff. It's just like a really great card given how much graveyard dependent decks we have nowadays, which is fine and well off. Just leave it at 1. Just yeah. Now with the Fiendsmith, I'm surprised we made it this far because we saw that Fiendsmith has been coming in and out of formats, people using it for this, that, and the other, but people really only use it for this guy. Now, the Engraver being able to use a Gum Day or whatever the Link 3 is, that one's crazy because you can do a combo where if you get Engraver from hand, you can get Desiree to like what, 7,600 or 60-something hundred. You get him crazy big. But I think most people would agree here, just do it. Just get rid of Caesar already. It's the necessary evil. I'm sorry, DDD players, that it had to be this way, but honestly, and then the Fiendsmith engine can breathe, right? I'm sure people will find other cards that it can go into, but it probably won't be as crazy. But it also gives them to release other level 6s down the road because Fiendsmith is a great engine. It doesn't do a whole lot. He eats hand traps. Desiree being a non-targeting negate and can't be targeted itself, I think is crazy on its own. We have their boss monster of, Rex Tremende. Can't be affected unless it's another Fiendsmith card, which is crazy. I think it's fine. And then the rest of these can just stay. People were calling for the ban of Requiem because it's like that bridge. But it's like, what would the engine do anyways? Then the engine's just dead. There's no point. You could still like try to combo, but like it'd be insanely difficult and you're just doing too much. Like just get rid of the problem and call it a day. Super Poly, straight to two. Insane Board Breaker, quick play, a necessary evil, I would agree. But I would agree to a semi-limit so you don't see it as often. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I know that people are going to be using this in the next format when Kill Tune's a problem and people are making that C monster or whatever because it's just 2 tuners and you can just fucking wipe their board. So this being a preemptive hit to where the Kill Tune players don't just like automatically lose, but also too with that Super Poly, they won't automatically lose. Like it's a good to clear the board at certain points and like maybe hit a few choke points, but like don't ban Super Poly and don't limit it. This is like the farthest I would take Super Poly, and then maybe in like a year or so unlimit it and just let it breathe. Droll. Let's do it. Let's do it. And the reason why I'm not banning it and putting it to limited is there's too many things I want to see banned. I don't think they're going to ban, 8 cards at once. I mean, I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know what's the most they've ever banned at once, but I think like 5 to 7 was like the most. And it being at 1, people probably won't ever play it. Although Droll just being that card. I mean, like Shifter being at 1, people are playing it. Droll at 1, people are still going to play it, but it's like so more or less likely. Like if you hit me with that 1 of, fucking great, I guess, whatever. And then eventually move it to the ban list. But I think for 1, yeah, I take what I can get. I take what I can get. Drones, I think, was on here twice. My bad. Let's have this conversation now. I think it's time for OSS to come back. And here's why. I'm going to put, and this is very controversial now because I do love the engine and I do play it myself. White Forest does only need the 1 copy. But right now, people are abusing it because with a Wanted, you get a draw. You get 2 Omni Negates out of it because you get the Illa Sylvia and then you get the Dragoon now. Dragoon isn't going to get banned. And I don't think it needs to be. Illa Sylvia also doesn't need to be banned. It's an in-arc type, you know, Omni Negate. I think it's fine. It tributes for cost so you can, you know, Called by the Grave it or, you know, do something else. But I think Wanted giving that generic, just any deck can run it. And if you see it, cool. You can leave Diabellstar at 3 so people can still play that little engine if they want to. But they just skip out on that extra draw because you have to pitch something for Witch. And, you know, it's like, oh, it didn't even matter because I never went neg. Because I also get to then banish the Wanted, shuffle back the Deception, and then get a draw out of it, which could draw into more non-engine or draw into an engine piece that I needed. So I think just keep it at limited. That way, the deck that actually plays it, which is the White Forest deck, it can be searched, and there's no issue there. Don't try to kill the deck. But back to OSS. Power Patron is a fire, level 1 fire. I think them bringing Ash back to 3, Poplar, I think, is at 3 now, right? Poplar is at 3, Ash is at 3. Let's bring back the Snake Eyes deck. Because if we're doing Wanted to 1, you can probably semi-limit Diabellstar at the same time. Because I know in OCG, I think Master Duel as well, Wanted and Witch are both at 1 and 1. Not saying that we need to follow them exactly, but like the deck, like White Forest, for example, that plays it, you only play 1, or you can play 3 Wanted just to make sure you can see it sometimes. But with 1 Wanted and 1 Witch, still fine. You know, you could still do the exact same combo just the same, and you actually don't end up breaking on more Wanteds. So, but OSS can come back to 1. It only needs to be at 1. It doesn't need to be unlimited or semi-limited, which would be crazy. But let's bring back the Snake Eyes deck. See what it does. Let's throw in the biggest, baddest has been deck into the decks that are out now and watch it not do a damn thing because it is slower. It still has the potential to create an insane amount of like materials, but you got to remember Baron is banned, Savage is banned, Apo is banned. It's like it'll probably run Fiendsmith or Kashtira Fiendsmith with it. Like it's got to run other engines. The Snake Eyes deck alone won't do much. Now, Snake Eyes can, and I have seen it and do bridge into the Yummy engine because they're level 1s and they make Link 1 level 1s very, very easily. But with Cupsy being banned, OSS can come back and it gives people just other options to go into. Like Rescue Ace becomes a little stronger because they can play the Witch engine if Witch is at 2 or at 3 and Wanted's at 1. I think that conversation can be had. Now, I'm not smart enough to know like what could come back or what they could bring from 1 to 3 or 2 to 3 or what could come off the ban list. But this is just like my thoughts, my opinions on the ban list, the current format, what I think needs to be hit, what I think needs to be, you know, brought back or untouched. And again, I don't want to see people's decks killed. I know Cupsy Yummy being banned kind of just kills off that deck, but it's just for right now. The next ban list, it can come back to 1. I don't think it'll be a problem. People will be moved on from it. Let other decks kind of thrive. Draco Tale also like ban Flame and leave the whole rest of the deck untouched, I guess. I don't know. What do you guys think? I know this video is a bit longer. I tried to keep it as short as possible. I didn't want to flood this list with like, 100 cards and just go through each individual card. It was more so just like the archetypes and the non-engine I wanted to go over to kind of give you guys ideas. Maybe you guys can go on Twitter and Konami can see, what people are advocating for and whatnot. I just wanted to put my thoughts and prayers out there. Prayers that Fissure and Shifter and all the things that are on the ban forbidden, just everything else is subjective. But please ban those cards and then bring back OSS, please. What do you guys think? Are there cards I missed? Are there cards you guys want to see? Are there cards that I didn't even consider or I'm looking at something the wrong way? Let me know in the comments below. And until next time, guys. Oh, I do want to say we're very close to 100 subscribers, which is very, very cool because I can't imagine what it's like to put 75, 76 of you in a room and, have you guys like watching me up on some stage or whatever and talk. I think it's really cool. But I didn't want to be asking for like, oh, make sure you guys comment and like and sub and ring that bell and do all that dumb shit. Like it's whatever. I do this for fun. I do this at my own pace. Do this whenever for fun. But let's see if we can make it to 100 subs. I think that'd be really cool. I think that would be a really cool thing to see. Just personally, like I did this and I didn't think anything would come of it. I didn't even think I'd get like 10 subscribers or let alone over 50. But here we are, and I appreciate you guys so much and appreciate the love and support you guys give. So let's see if we can make it to 100. Share, comment, like, sub, do all that stuff, and just let's see what can happen. And then after 100, we'll see what happens then. But until then, guys, take it easy.